Today we'll be going over the backhand flick volley. So I like to distinguish between flick volleys and roll volleys. Flicks, like rolls, do have top spin, but they are a little more sudden and pace oriented than the roll volley is. Roll volleys can be slow from a very low position like this, where it's kind of loopy and you're taking advantage of the top spin and not as much pace to keep balls in from a very low point. Flicks are going to be in that mid-range zone where you might be hitting them more from around here. Still could be below the level of the net, but not quite as low as the roll. And we're doing it more suddenly for very quick pace to surprise people. It can often be at the body. There's a lot of uses for the flick as well, and you can certainly use each one in different scenarios. So let's take a look at hitting some of them here. So you can see right there that contact point was probably slightly above the level of the net, and I got quick power with top spin. Let's watch that one more time, then I'll explain what we're doing. One more, Mason. So with the backhand flick, a couple things. First of all, we want to be low, knees bent, butt back, once again the counterbalance, and then we're bending at the waist in order to get reach. And we want to be hitting this at full extension. Most of the job done with a flick is going to be in your wrist here. And I know on a lot of shots I say don't use your wrist. On the flick, it's only going to be in very controlled scenarios where you're hitting the ball typically off of a dink to where you are timing the ball very well, and you're most likely not going to overhit or mishit it or mistime it. So while you're at full extension, we want to be turning the paddle face down. It needs to be faced like this, never open, because if we hit open and flick our wrist, the ball is just going to go up and long. So in this scenario, paddle face is closed, knees are bent, and now the motion here is going to be from here to there. What I don't want to see is this. It's not really a windshield wiper, it's both up and forward, so here. All right, let's watch that again in fast motion. So I'm going to be bending, leaning forward, full extension. Now you might see a little bit of motion. It's not just wrist, it's not only this. There's a little bit of elbow bend to full snap extension. This motion right here, so you're going to notice a little bit of slight bend here and snap to full extension with the elbow. Now you can adjust the left and right naturally with a continental grip and closing this paddle face. You're naturally going to be hitting it more towards the middle, more to the right, but you certainly can start the paddle further over this way by bending it back. And then you're still taking the same motion with the flick, and that should bring it over to the left just by starting the paddle instead of here, more back over here. And that's just presetting your wrist once again, and then still using the same kind of flick motion. So again, where do we want to use this? So I would say anywhere from the level of the net, right about here, down to about here, you're going to be able to use a flick and still get enough top spin to keep the ball in while hitting it with decent pace. I would not really be using it from really far down here. I'd be using more of a roll volley in that situation. So just be aware of what height you're contacting the ball and which shot you then want to use. So a couple other things. First of all, contact point, like I said, out in front of your body is great. Anywhere from about here to here. Here you can get a little more over to the left directionally. I would not be trying to hit a backhand over here, pretty obvious. But also, the further out you get to the left of your body with your backhand, the more you're relying on your wrist to do all the work instead of that snap of the elbow. So I would generally recommend that you're lining the ball up approximately with your left shoulder, give or take a little bit of room, because that's where you can allow your elbow to do a little more of the work than just your wrist, whereas as soon as you extend, you're losing out on that, so try not to do that. And then placement-wise, you're really relying on the top spin and the sudden pace to give you your points, so you don't need to be aiming in a specific spot all the time, but chicken wing, of course, never hurts. And the easy and great thing about this flick is that it can also get to the other side of the body instead of chicken wing, get to this side very quickly and easily. So that's probably your other area that you're aiming for. So try to get the natural one over on this side and get the chicken wing so that people are not able to expect just one or the other. And there you have the backhand flick volley.